Dummy Switch Pod,
Yes, sir.
world's most dangerous rugby podcast, and we're back this time discussing all things box and all things Italy. Passing on to my illustrious host. How are you, Chris?
Quarters, I'm content. Can't complain. With questions answered, yes, but still things that we need to look into, and I guess that's why we're here. So let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems as though the theme of the week is just morale boosting, especially coming off of that midweek game against Bears, which we'd rather forget. Stick getting the stick, you know. Guys aren't happy with stick. And if we're being honest,
Yeah, I'm also not.
there's two reasons. There's results and there's another reason, but we won't get on that reason because we all know what that reason is. But in terms of the box, because there we can have a whole other podcast about that.
Yeah, no, true.
But
I'm just not happy about the results part. Just saying.
so yeah, diving into Italy, it was a morale booster that we needed. Murat and Ori, it was their week.
Yeah.
The guys to really come in.
Yeah.
Esterhazen as well. He was playing 12, Dialendi 13, which guys we don't have a replacement for Lucanio but alas. Yeah, how are you feeling going into it?
Look, going into it, I was expecting a better performance for sure, but also wary of the Italians. And I did mention about the tempo, and we saw a bit of that, how they were able to sort of break out against us, against our defense. And for me, it's one of the things that really sticks out for me is that teams have a tendency to get at us out wide, a bit too easily sometimes. And I won't say there's anything wrong with our defense, but it's more around just, sort of different variations within that system, to know when to play that outside in or when to just hold off and rather screen them and push them out wide, but yeah, I guess it's their system. And I mean, if a team like Italy can do that to us, what's England going to do? I'm just saying, and they feeling confident after New Zealand, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it for now. Let me pass it back.
Yeah, it was that morale boosting win, but I mean, I don't know if I can be too harsh on them, especially with that. Was it Capuzzo? The Capuzzo, no?
Yeah.
Number 15. You can't be too hard because he is breakout player of the year, and he did bring that magic, that sort of magic that's sometimes missing from the back line of the box, or of even other tier one teams. But they were a bit disrespectful in the beginning. They were running it from their own 22. They couldn't get their own restarts. Box trapped them at first, and we didn't cover this last week, but Colby continues to do the kicking. I felt first half there wasn't really much to write home about. It was they showed their attack, we showed what we showed. Murat, I don't think it was memorable for a week that was supposed to be your week. Ori, he just gets the job done. That guy, he gets the job done.
Yeah. I'd like to disagree on Murat. For me, okay, look, he had a more industrious game for me. He was quiet, head down, and he was just doing his job. I think he's quietly, slowly developing into that secondary lock. In the event that Etzebeth is not available, because I mean, look. All of that was on the back of the hard work that they did up front, particularly in the first half. I mean, you look at that scoreline, right? So we gotta give him a bit of credit. The youngster. I believe that he this is not even the tip of the iceberg with him. We still want to see more. I'm hoping to see more from him. But yeah, look, Ori, yes, he gets the job done. And you look with the Italians. I think you say they disrespected us a little bit. I think. Okay, yes, there's maybe that element, but I think also it's just that identification from their coaching group of, how they can try and exploit a Springbok team and knowing that, the Springboks struggle to play catch-up rugby, so if you want to get at them and you got to hit them hard, fast, get ahead of them very quickly and then, try hang in there. They couldn't get it done. Eventually, they couldn't hang. It was close a bit in the first half, but look, eventually the power came through with the Boks. And yeah, we started to see some variations from the Boks. That little bit of that evolution that we've been calling for in terms of how they want to play. But yeah, look, you can't really complain. Like you said, there's not a lot really that you can pick at. Outside of just looking at technical things. To say, okay, attacking shape. You'd have felt sometimes you would have loved to see maybe shoulders maybe facing instead of the touchline, maybe facing ahead in terms of the running lines that they were looking to execute, or maybe a variation of what they're looking to do. And then also just on the attacking intent, there's no doubt the Boks do want to attack. They can attack, but it's just, if you look at the kick returns, yeah, look, they wanted to run it back, but there were no options, to play it when the guy was at the advantage line. Guys were nearly flat next to him, forces either the kick or a wide pass across the face, potentially a forward pass, maybe, because there's things that the referees missed from both sides. I'm just saying, looking at it, I even watched the highlights earlier. There's a clean out from the side from Villi that was missed when we were in the 22 in the first half. The things that are missed were not rolling away from the Italian side. So officiating, I think, was equal on both sides, But yeah, look, we'll take the win, take the positives, but cautiously so. I agree with the captain. One good game is not enough.
Yeah, for me, to be honest with you, the game really started in the second half when Libbok came on. Primarily because he saw a new dimension then. It's been this thing of give Libbok a go, and I think it was the week for Ari and Murad, but it turned into Libbok's week. Yeah. He took over. Yeah. He came on, and then we saw that counter-attacking style that the Stormers have. Yeah. All of a sudden, we're seeing it from the Boks now. You're starting to see that double pivot of almost two fly halves. Yeah. That double pivot with him and Willie Leroux, where at the Stormers it's him and Damian Willemse. Yeah. So he added that dimension. Colby, of course, he went off injured, which is why Libbok came on. Yeah. And then next thing, now we're seeing Libbok kicking for goals, where you've got a situation where Willemse isn't doing any of the kicking. Even we'll go on to next week, but it's going to become an issue because who's going to kick for goals next week, because you've got no Colby. So injury or not, I mean, he is a European-based player, but he's not there anymore. So Libbok, I have a feeling he'll be cleared off the bench sooner rather than later. But I feel like, I mean, even his passing, that double pivot passing for Reinach's try, where they let Arendse loose, and then it was all about that pass. Yeah. It was all about that pass. But for me, the game main takeaways is Libbok coming on. He's the guy. He's the guy that the papers will write about this week. The other guy is, of course, Kurtley Arendse, solidifying his position week on week, scoring tries week on week. He's becoming Spoon Corsi is throwing the remote at the TV right now, watching on.
It's difficult for a lot of guys. Look, it's difficult for a lot of guys now, especially the guys that are sort of now find themselves on the outside of the group. Look, Libbok is a fly-off. He came on. I think we mentioned his maturity. I mean, he's gone the long way around in a sense. Where he wasn't backed. We've questioned him before as well. When he was at the Bulls, but again, it just shows what confidence does. Number one, and consistency playing in one position, and also I think just being fearless. Yeah, he's fearless because I mean, if you look at that pass, and there was even another pass where you're not a different defense that's an intercept. It does a pass out to the left. A different defense that's an intercept, but he's fearless. He's having a go. He's seeing the space and he's not afraid to chance his arm, and is bringing that different dynamic to the Boks. And going back to just that Bok evolution in terms of their game plan, there's nothing wrong. I don't know how many times we've said it. There's nothing wrong with their game plan as such, but it's just the personnel. And now we're starting to see different weapons within that can fit in with in that game plan. Because remember, I think a few weeks ago when they were talking about the squad, it was a matter of no, the Boks would have to adapt their game plan to Libbok because Libbok is but no, he showed that on the weekend. Is that give him the license, back him, and he can do the job. So yeah, it's. Let's see how they're going to utilize him, especially against England. I think with Damian Willems, I think the number one thing that they're seeing and they're probably liking as well is that first phase defense in that number 10 channel as well, because he gets a shoulder in there. He's also fearless. He can also play, but also now the goal kicking. I don't think it's a bad thing that the duties are being spread around, because you never know what can happen in a tournament, and you want to at least have options at goal kicking, as much as we may not necessarily see it right now. But there's you got to look at all the elements, from both sides. I would say.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on especially the goal kicking. It's if you have more than one goal kicker, then you don't have any goal kicker. But I mean, Colby he's taken on that duty well. It's just a shame he's going to be out in this one. This one against England, looking forward, there's no European-based players. Yeah. But I'm sure Colby was injured either way. Yes. Big thing of the week was that Dialendi, they weren't sure about his fitness, but he's landed up pulling through. He's back with Jesse Creel, unfortunately. Evan Ruiz.
Moody's on the bench, so
Evan Ruiz gets his start, which, like I even said last week, if the tour is going better, you feel that Italy was the start for him, or even France. You would have thought that he'd be more involved at that point if the tour had been going better. Bench wise, Libbok's there, Moody is there. That's the other point where it seems like Moody, he covered 15 when he was at the Bulls. So it looks as though they're looking at him to cover wing 15 and even 13, which was his high school position. So again, Wandisile Similani again. I think he's another guy at the Bulls throwing the remote at the TV, because especially his experiment in trying to make him a utility back for the Boks. I think Moody's rightfully taken that position.
Yeah, look, and rightfully so. So look, he'll know what he has to do, go back to work and put his head down. I just think with the composition of the team, at least, like I said, at least there's Moody on the bench, because if we got to have a look at what else we have at 13, no doubt with Ruiz getting his start. Look, we will miss Jasper Visa for sure, but I kind of like the element that Ruiz brings, because he can potentially be more of a link-up player. I feel that we sometimes lack that within our loose forward trio, where we've got a loose forward that can link up after he makes that break, beyond the advantage line. So I'm excited to see that. And there's no bigger test, yes, fine, Italy maybe start, but fact of the matter is that he's played before, started against Wales.
There's no bigger opportunity.
Yeah. Then now is the chance against England, even for Damian Willems. Yes, this is the one against England, in their backyard. Since 2019, since the World Cup final, I don't think we've beaten them. We haven't. We need to set the record straight. So this is the one. And like Sia said, one good game is not enough, and they got to back it up. Because at the end of the day, that's what we've been calling for, is back it up. Nobody's saying you can't attack. Nobody's saying you can't play. What we're saying is, from our side, is consistency. And yes, we saw the element of the ruthlessness, but we got to see a more sharper edge now against England and really put these guys away.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. Like I said, this is a test where names are made. This has been a breakout fixture for a lot of players, on both sides actually. So I think this is the one. It'll be
Libbok as well.
Libbok or Moody. It's gonna be. I'm picking one of those guys to have the breakout performance. I don't think it'll be Ruiz, but it could be Ruiz. It could be his. It could very well be his moment. Yeah. But one of those three, I'm leaning more towards the back line, because I think once changes get made there, I think it might spark something in us, and we'll see a bit more running game. But I mean, last week I called it big win.
Yeah, you did.
I'm feeling.
You did.
I'm feeling the same this week. I think we can, maybe not a big win, but I've got the feeling that they'll back it up. Especially, you were one calling for forwards. I mean, sorry, an attacking coach.
Yeah,
They've come out and said they are attacking in their own. They said we know ourselves basically, and that they are an attacking side. So maybe this is the week they prove you wrong.
Yeah, look, I hope this is the week that they prove me wrong, for sure. But I still say a different picture, a different approach in terms of the attack. It's just a different view. I don't think it would hurt them, and they've got Bafana and Tlego in there, and I believe they need to use his expertise from an attack point of view to add an extra element. We need that because there's so much that our players can do, and we're not using them to their fullest potential. So, yeah, but they got to back it up this weekend. They got to get the job done, and I think they will. That's it. I'm saying I think they will, so the pressure's on them.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Dummy Switch Pod. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
We're out.